Hi everyone, this is a special episode of 90% Knitting that I'm recording in order to introduce to you the Pie of the Every Other Month Club. Sign-ups for this club will start tomorrow, so I wanted to tell you all about it, and I thought the easiest way to do that would be to just do a special little video. You can go to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Ravelry group, and there is a thread started there already that says Pie of the Every Other Month Club, appropriately enough, and that does have all of the information that you will need to know about the club. So if you're a reader, go there. I would actually encourage you to go there just so that you make sure you know everything, and in case I miss any of the details I should tell you right now, you'll have all of the information there. But I am actually going to be following through that post so that I hopefully will tell you everything now. The first and most important thing that I have to tell you about the club is about the sign-up process. If you remember when I did the sign-ups for the Killarney Collection Club last month, I was able to facilitate that directly through my shop. It was easy peasy, it was not at all complicated, and it eliminated the need for me to have you sign up using a questionnaire, which is what I've always done in the past for my clubs. I had hoped to be able to use that same process for this club. However, there are differences between this club and the Killarney Club that are keeping that from being able to be a reality. Mainly, I want to be able to offer you choices of bases and the payment option, whether you pay per shipment and pay per, for the full club up front, which is what I did with the other club as well. However, the other club was not a limited club. I didn't limit how many people could join that club. I have to place a limit on the pie club though because of the nature of the yarn. It's self-striping. The pie sequence of that has to be wound for the yarn is a little bit more complex, and I have to limit how many skeins of that I am offering. So, without going into a whole lot of behind-the-scenes boring detail for you, the short story of this is that Big Cartel, which is what I run my shop through, has limitations on how I would be able to make those kind of listings available. Basically, I would have to say, okay, here's your yarn base, here's your payment option, and I have to put a specific number of that option available. So I'm offering this in 4 different bases with 2 different payment options. In order to do that, I would have to say, okay, there's going to be this number of this option available and this number of this option available. And that would be very difficult because I don't know what you guys are going to want, There's going to be 20 spots available for this club initially, which I'll explain that in a minute. I have no idea. The first 17 people who sign up might all want to have the bounce base and pay for it all up front. So if I only put in 4 spots with that option, that's going to leave a lot of people out. I don't want to do that. I want to make this as available to people as I possibly can. So roundabout here, that makes it necessary for me to facilitate this club sign up through a questionnaire, which is what I didn't want to have to do, but in the end, I think it'll be better for everybody because it gives you the options. So that's what I'm going to do. I have a questionnaire ready to go, and signups are going to start tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday, November 9th, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can go to the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group and go to the club thread, and I will have the link to that questionnaire posted at the very top of the page as of 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. It will be live. So what will happen is this is going to be basically a first come first serve situation, which is the same as it would be if I was able to post it in the shop, which is what I wanted to do. The first 20 people who get their questionnaire back to me will receive an email from me and an invoice. Well, not an invoice. There will be a reserved listing put up in the shop. It'll have your name on it, first name. It'll have your your name on it, and the listing itself will say what your club choice was, bounce, your base listing and your payment option, and it will be priced accordingly. You will have 24 hours to pay for that. Once you pay for that, then you are officially in the club. That means that you have signed up. If I don't get your payment within the 24-hour period, your listing will be deleted, and I will offer it to the next person on the waiting list. So I will leave the questionnaires up a little bit beyond 20 people. You know, I don't know, maybe 30. I'm not going to set a specific number. I will leave the questionnaires up beyond the first 20 people so that I do have access to a waiting list. However, once I get 20 people who have signed up and paid for their spot, that will close the official signups. Now, I mentioned that initially there was going to be 20. There may be a few extra spots based on the yarn base that those first 20 people choose. I dye all of my yarn, my self-striping yarn, in sets of 2. So if I end up with an odd number of one of the bases, I will make that extra skein available, or that extra spot available to additional people. Again, going through the waiting list, I'll let you know what base or bases are available. And if you want it on that base and are willing to pay for your club within 24 hours, great, then you're in the club. And if not, I'll go down the line as long as there's a waiting list. I'm assuming there will be 20 people sign up. If less than 20 people sign up, then this is a non-issue. I'm going to leave signups open until I get 20 confirmed club members, or until Wednesday, November 23rd, whichever comes first. Once the 23rd is here, if I have no more interest in the club, I'm just going to shut signups down, and that'll be that, and we'll just have whoever's in the club. So I feel like that was way more complicated than it needed to be, but that's the problem. This is going to end up being more complex than I wanted it to be, just because I like to give everybody as many options as I can, and this is the only way I can make that work. So let me tell you a little bit. First of all, let me give you the club details. It's a 3-month club. It will ship during December, February, and April, in the last week of each of those months. You will get 1 skein of Pi series yarn in a colorway that will remain exclusive to the club for at least a period of 6 months from the time the club shipment is released. What is Pi yarn? In case you're new to my Pi series of yarns, let me describe to you what Pi yarns are. It's P-I, and I always put the E in parentheses because there's two, oh boy, 2 components to my Pi yarn. The first component is that the striping pattern, these are self-striping yarns, the striping pattern is based on the numeric sequence of the number pi. Okay, so that's 3.1415926, blah, 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 blah. It never repeats, okay? So the striping pattern in your skein of yarn is never going to repeat, which is pretty cool. And if you're a mathy, geeky kind of person and likes that kind of thing, you'll love that. However, if you're the type of person who wants to be able to get 2 very matchy socks out of a skein of yarn, this is probably not the club for you. This is probably not the yarn for you, because you won't be able to do that with 1 skein of yarn. I just like to let people know that up front, because sometimes that's something that bothers some people. Okay, so that's the first component to Pi yarn. The other component is the Pi with the E on the end. Each colorway has a theme, a Pi, P-I-E related theme. I've done 4 Pi colorways so far. The first 2 of them, I would say, were more literal based Pi flavors that you might actually enjoy eating. The third one was the darker side of Pi, which is Pi flavors that you probably would not want to eat because they're poisonous. So hence the darker side of Pi. And then the fourth one was my most recent. It was the Hallow Pi colorway. And those were more fantastical named Pi flavors. Obviously not real Pi flavors, but it was just a fun Pi theme. So the pie that you may get in the pie colorways that you may get in the club may fall into a more literal category, or they may fall into the more fantastical, fun category. All of them are meant to be fun, though. So that's what pie yarn is. As far as the yarn base and payment options, again, you may choose to pay for your club membership per shipment, which is fine. You will get invoice. I will invoice you. I keep saying invoicing. The first one I will set up as a reserved listing in the shop, and then subsequent shipments, the other 2 shipments, I will invoice you directly through PayPal. Unless you'd prefer me to just put another listing in the club, or in the shop, I can do that too. You can let me know that when I email you. But the yarn bases that will be, the other payment option is paying for your full club upfront. And if you do that, you do get a 10% discount on the total cost of the club. That applies to the cost of the yarn, not the shipping. There is no discount on shipping because I have to pay that no matter what. Okay, there are 4 yarn bases that this will be available to you to choose from. My bounce base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 400 yards. It's a fingering weight. I'm not going to tell you the prices up front. It would be easier if you just go look at them in the listing, and they're also listed on the questionnaire. But anyway, my bounce base, then my bedazzled base, which is also fingering weight yarn. That's the 75/25% superwash merino nylon stellina. So that's the sparkly base. That has 438 yards. My traveler base, which is my sport weight base, that's also an 80/20 superwash nylon base. A little bit less yardage though, because it's a heavier weight yarn, 328 yards. And lastly, I wanted to offer it on a heavier weight base, in case you're not somebody who knits socks and things like that, and you'd rather do a hat or a cowl or something with your yarn. That would be the Bonafide base, which is my DK weight base. It's 100% superwash merino, 231 yards. Okay, again, the prices are listed on both the Ravelry thread and on the questionnaire. I've also listed the shipping costs, both for US, Canada, and international, in the Ravelry thread, so you can review those there. That's pretty much it. Again, the signups will go live. The questionnaire will go live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Check the Ravelry thread, check the Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook. Those are the 2 places, and I will probably also post it on Instagram. So 3 places that you will be able to find the link to the sign-up questionnaire. If you have any questions at all about any of the club sign-up info or about the club itself, please email me, fibernymph@gmail.com. Please do not PM me through Ravelry, because honestly, I can't guarantee that I will be able to get onto Ravelry to get a timely response to you between now and when signups are happening. I know the Ravelry message system is great, and I do use it, but when it comes to business-oriented things with my yarn business, it's just so much better to contact me directly through email, because I have my phone with me all the time, and I can reply to emails way more easily on my phone than I can reply to Ravelry messages. So I hope that this was all really clear. I know it's a lot of information, but again, it's all in writing on the Ravelry group, in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group under the club thread. I'm really looking forward to doing this club. I have 3 fantastic colorway ideas that I cannot wait to do for this club. So I look forward to having you guys sign up starting tomorrow, and to get your yarn to you over the course of those 3 months, which it's every other month, obviously, the pie of the every other month club. But it'll be a lot of fun for all of us, I think. So thank you so much for watching. Again, any questions, just email me, and I'll see you soon in a regular episode. Take care.